Hey, what's up? It's Greg, aka DadPad Gaming, and today we are reviewing Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It feels like it's been a very long time coming, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor is finally here. If it sounds like I've been extremely impatient while waiting for this game, it's cause I have been. Quite honestly, my first playthrough of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is part of the reason I became a Star Wars fan. In fact, playing the game the first time and having absolutely no idea what Order 66 was really confusing. But after watching all of the movies and then going back for a second playthrough, oh man, it was something special. So with that being said, it's probably obvious, but Jedi Survivor is one of my most anticipated games of the year. So if you are watching this review, watch it through the lens of a fan. That might mean more to you, it might mean less to you to hear my opinion. But nonetheless, let's figure out if it was all worth the wait. Jedi Survivor picks up about 5 years after the original game. By this point, the Mantis crew has separated and everyone's kinda doing their own thing. Our boy Cal Kestis as well as BD1 find themselves as mercenaries going out on missions to do the bidding of the Resistance. It does not take long for Cal Kestis to accidentally stumble upon a group of raiders that are looking for a particular key. And of course, because plot demands it, a bit of misadventure eventually leads to Cal Kestis finding said key, as well as unearthing a old droid and a Jedi who both happen to be from the High Republic era. And because no spoilers, we'll just say that these events lead to a galaxy-trotting adventure that any Star Wars fan would enjoy. So, what's good with Star Wars Jedi Survivor? Well, honestly, just about everything in this game screams sequel in the best possible way, at least from a gameplay perspective. A lot of sequels in the world of gaming will usually use some type of cheap plot device to make an excuse for why we're filling up our skill tree for a second time. Respawn avoids that trope by giving you all of the skills from the original game in some capacity or another in moving forward in this title, which is good because it gives the new skill tree here plenty of time to help our boy Cal Kestis come into his own. And it does a really good job of doing that. The skill tree is broken up into a few different sections. Survivor, which focuses on managing your health and force ability gauges. Lightsaber, which focuses obviously on the different forms of lightsaber stances in this title. And Force, which of course focuses on your force abilities, which focuses both on push and pull and also on Jedi mind tricks, which plays a really interesting role in gameplay this time around. The maps here are also very expansive and double down on the Metroidvania features from the previous title. I spent hours at a time getting lost on just one planet, and there's several to explore here. And exploration is absolutely incentivized because Cal Kestis is 100% customizable, from hair to lightsaber to BD1 and even his outfits. You can change everything about his look, and you find most of those components within the world. And of course, along with that, there are plenty of mini bosses, secret bosses, and bounty hunters that you can find within the environment that make exploration even more worth it. And combat is even better here than it was in the previous title. Again, just about every ability from the original game pops up here, When we take those and put them with other abilities that you can learn within the new skill tree, you really start to feel like not only are you playing with a Jedi Knight, but a Jedi Knight that's been around the block a few times. Jedi push, pull, lift, and even slam enemies. Throw your lightsaber, get into close quarters for lightsaber combat, or take control of enemies with mind tricks. When combined with the fact that each of the several lightsaber stances has their own skill tree, you really get to a point where Cal Kestis can become the Jedi that you always wanted to be. And it's that very sense of agency that makes the combat in Jedi Survivor so special. It's also worth mentioning that both puzzling and platforming has seen a great amount of improvement. Where previously you were just more or less pushing and pulling blocks around, there's a lot more to do in terms of both puzzling and platforming. Also, a lot of you guys will be happy to hear that the issue with New Game Plus from the original title is no longer here. All of your skills from your first playthrough will actually carry over to your New Game Plus, with the only exception being any of the traversal abilities that you get, simply because of the fact that they'll allow you to access points in the game where the narrative is not ready for you to access them within the New Game Plus. But everything else is ready to go right at the beginning. And lastly, the characters and the story work are amazing. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you're even slightly a Star Wars fan, you're going to get a kick out of this one. In the final moments of this title, I found myself picking up my jaw from the floor multiple times, and at other times I was just straight up screaming. And for what was bad in Jedi Survivor, well, I've got a list, but a short list. First and foremost, if you're playing on PC, from what I understand, the game is a buggy, glitchy mess. I played on PS5 and did not have that experience, at least not completely. Whereas even on the console experience, there have been plenty of reports of repeated crashing and other types of glitches. I didn't have so much of that. The game did crash on me, but only once. And there was a glitch that I experienced towards the beginning of my playthrough, which resulted in me not being able to pick up my experience points that I lost at any point in time that I died, but that issue kinda went away. Honestly, I'm not sure if I just got good and stopped dying as much, or if one of the 2 patches that came out during the first 2 weeks that this title has been released fixed the problem. I did find lots of problems with frame rate, particularly in the performance mode, which is supposed to give you a 1440 experience at 60 frames per second. Somewhere along the way, I decided to switch over to the graphical mode at 4K 30 frames, and actually things were a lot better and a lot more consistent on the performance side of things. But at the same time, despite the performance issues I had, they conveniently only ever happened during exploration portions, never during platforming, and almost never during combat. So despite the fact that it was bothersome from time to time, it never actually hindered my experience in gameplay at the times that it mattered the most. I'm not sure if I necessarily just got lucky, or if maybe some of the week 1 and 2 patches actually fixed the game to make it more stable for my experience, but my experience when it came to stability and performance was noticeable, but it really did not hinder my experience much at all. But as this is a review, I'm just kind of putting it out there that some people do care about those things, and that might change your opinion on if you need to buy this game now, or if you want to wait a few months for all the bugs to be fixed. The only other issue I had with Jedi Survivor is the fact that the difficulty here was kind of a weird case. It started off extremely easy and made me feel as though I was ready to turn up the difficulty a dial or two. But by the end of the game, there's a really steep difficulty hike that can be pretty demanding. The fact that I did lots of exploration and managed to build myself up to 10 recovery stems definitely helped me to get through things. So make sure that you take the time to build your character up because it gets pretty grueling towards the end. I took my time with Star Wars Jedi Survivor and rolled the credits at just under 40 hours, and I honestly enjoyed myself every step of the way. With solid combat, wonderful worlds to explore, and an amazing story that falls right into the realm of Star Wars, particularly somewhere within comics and the novel territory, there's plenty to love here. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is a shining example of what licensed games should be, and probably one of the best pieces of Star Wars media that can be consumed today. I'm going to give Star Wars Jedi Survivor a 10 out of 10. Thank you so much for coming to Blerd Lines Media to check out another review. It means the world to us. Be sure to like the video and also leave a comment and let us know, what did you think about Jedi Survivor or even Jedi Fallen Order? And the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom review is right around the corner, so be sure to subscribe so that you can be one of the first to check it out as it becomes available. Thanks again, guys, and have a wonderful day.